A very good evening and thank you for joining GBS News at 9. My name is Susan Nganga and our sign language interpreter tonight is Paul Mathenge. We begin with sad news from the United States, where former U.S. Vice President Dick Cheney has passed away at the age of 84. According to his family, pneumonia, cardiac arrest, and vascular disease led to his death, conditions that had affected him for much of his adult life. His first heart attack occurring when he was only 37 years old. Considered one of the most influential and outspoken vice presidents in modern history, Cheney served as the 46th Vice President of the United States, holding office for 2 terms under President George W. Bush from 2001 to 2009. Though a vocal critic of Donald Trump's leadership, Cheney is widely credited with expanding America's role and influence on the global stage. Matthew Perez has the details.
I believe you're looking at the next Vice President of the United States.
Former U.S. Vice President Dick Cheney has died at the age of 84 years. Widely regarded as the most influential vice president in American history, Cheney died due to complications of cardiac arrest, pneumonia, and vascular disease, a statement from his family said.
Wouldn't call me Darth Vader for nothing.
The former Vice President Dick Cheney, who positioned himself as the most politically active and influential vice president, worked for nearly 4 decades in Washington, served as the youngest White House Chief of Staff under President Gerald Ford, represented Wyoming in the U.S. House of Representatives, where he worked with congressional leadership and President Ronald Reagan.
Dick Cheney is a trusted friend and advisor, and I'm convinced that he's going to be a great leader of our nation's military forces.
The no-nonsense former vice president was also Secretary of Defense under President George H.W. Bush and later served 2 terms as vice president from 2001 to 2009 under Bush's son, President George W. Bush.
I was a big supporter of waterboarding. I was a big supporter of the enhanced interrogation techniques.
Dick Cheney, who stood as U.S. 46th vice president, was known for making controversial statements, at one time supporting LGBTQ community and criticizing U.S. incumbent President Donald Trump, going ahead to campaigning for Kamala Harris alongside his daughter in the previous polls.
Tried to steal the last election using lies and violence to keep himself in power after the voters had rejected him. He is a coward. A real man wouldn't lie to his supporters. He lost his election, and he lost big. I know it, he knows it, and deep down, I think most Republicans know it. Liz is fearless. She never backs down from a fight. There is nothing more important she will ever do than lead the effort to make sure Donald Trump is never again near the Oval Office.
History will remember Cheney as one who first took charge while the president was out of Washington when terrorists attacked the United States on September 11, 2001.
Well, we're going to spend time in the shadows and in the intelligence world. A lot of what needs to be done here will have to be done quietly, without any discussion, using sources and methods that are available to our intelligence agencies if we're going to be successful. That's the world these folks operate in. And so it's going to be vital for us to use any means at our disposal, basically, to achieve our objective.
Cheney was also known as the mastermind behind much of Bush administration's strategy in wars, especially in the Middle East.
Simply stated, there is no doubt that Saddam Hussein now has weapons of mass destruction. There is no doubt that he is amassing them to use against our friends, against our allies, and against us.
He was also CEO of Halliburton, an energy company based in Texas that had a global presence. Matthew Perez for GBS News.
Very comfortable with what I did and why I did it and how I.
Shifting the focus, President William Ruto has called for a fairer and more inclusive world order during the Second World Summit for the Social Development in Doha, Qatar. The president underscored that education remains the most powerful equalizer, highlighting Kenya's shift to the competency-based education and training system to equip youth with practical skills. He further noted that affordable housing must remain the cornerstone of social progress, even as he warned that the digital divide is fast becoming one of the greatest barriers of our time. President Ruto urged decisive global action on debt distress, a new UN framework for international tax cooperation, and stronger representation for developing nations in global decision-making. He reaffirmed Africa's call for two permanent seats rather on the United Nations Security Council to ensure equity and true inclusivity in the international governance.
We recognize that education is the most powerful equalizer in society. That is why Kenya has fully transitioned to the competence-based education and training system that emphasizes practical skills, innovation, and lifelong learning. Equally, to make higher education equitable, we introduced a student-centered funding model that guarantees access to quality education for every learner, regardless of their social or economic background. We have also rapidly expanded technical and vocational training institutions across the country, ensuring that learners gain market-ready skills aligned with the needs of industry and entrepreneurship. Housing insecurity, manifesting through homelessness, overcrowding, and substandard shelter, continue to breed inequality. As housing costs outpace wages, affordable housing must become a cornerstone of social development. Informal and precarious employment remains yet another of the gravest obstacles to stability and growth, particularly in low and middle income countries where millions live close to the poverty line. We therefore call for comprehensive reform of the international financial architecture to make it fair, transparent, and responsive to the needs of developing nations and its people. We urge decisive action on debt distress and progress towards United Nations Framework Convention on International Tax Cooperation. We also underscore our call for a UN Convention in sovereign debt. Distinguished colleagues, the Copenhagen Declaration gave us a timeless framework built on three pillars: the eradication of poverty, decent work for all, and social integration. Grounded in equity, solidarity, and human dignity, these pillars remain our compass. This summit, distinguished colleagues, must rekindle genuine dialogue, restore trust, and reaffirm multilateralism as the anchor of collective.
And still on the president, he has highlighted the significant role of the Hustler Fund in empowering Kenyans economically. Since its inception in November 2022, the fund has disbursed approximately 80 billion shillings to ordinary citizens, including small business owners, youth, women, and people with disabilities. The fund aims to provide accessible, affordable credit to those often excluded from formal financial system, helping them start or grow businesses and improve livelihood. President Ruto emphasized that Hustler Fund currently serves over 26 million Kenyans, making it one of the largest financial inclusion initiatives in the country. Despite some criticism, Ruto defends the fund's impact, underscoring that many Kenyans rely on it for economic empowerment and that it has a unique lending model that does not penalize default harshly but encourage repayment over time.
We're empowering citizens economically through initiatives like the Financial Inclusion Fund, popularly known as the Hustler Fund. To date, the fund has disbursed Kenya shillings 80 billion, an equivalent of US dollars 615 million, to 26 million Kenyans. It now accounts for more than 9.5 million repeat borrowers, including 5 million individuals who have successfully restored their creditworthiness through consistent repayment, enabling them not only to re-enter the formal credit market, but also access higher borrowing limits and better financial terms. At the same time, together with partners, we are launching programs such as the National Youth Opportunity Towards Advancement Project. Over the next 5 years, it will reach 1 million young Kenyans, training them in skills that are on demand, financing startups, and enabling access to government procurement opportunities. We are equally committed to protecting the most vulnerable members of our society, including the elderly, orphans, widows, and persons living with disability. Through our National Safety Net program, commonly known as Inua Jamii, what began as a modest monthly support to 500 households has now expanded to reach more than 1.7 million families.
The president has also made the comment in the healthcare sector, particularly in the growth of the medical insurance coverage. Under his administration health sector reforms, the number of Kenyans with medical insurance has risen dramatically from 8 million in 2023 to 27.2 million today. This expansion aligns with Kenyans' bottom-up economic transformation agenda and efforts to achieve universal health coverage. The growth in coverage is supported by regulatory reforms such as the Social Health Insurance Act of 2023, which established the Social Health Authority to manage claims and integrate private health insurance providers with the public healthcare system. The reforms also include expanding private sector participation, improving digital health infrastructure, and enhancing access to quality healthcare services through public-private partnerships.
In health, ladies and gentlemen, the number of Kenyans with medical insurance has grown from 8 million in 2023 to 27.2 million today, ensuring that no one is denied health due to inability to pay.
And with that, it is time for us to take a short break. Keep your feedback streaming into social media platforms at GBS TV Africa. The SMS line is always 21144. We'll be right back.
Hello kids, and welcome to Kids Mind, where we learn, we laugh, and we explore. Once upon a time, there lived this beautiful, kind, and humble lady named Esther. She lived with Mordecai for a very long time until she grew as big as me. Before Esther was not named Esther. Her name was Hadassah. In our today's Bible story, I mentioned 5 characters. Who are they? Mordecai, King Xerxes, Esther, Haman, and Haggai. Esther represents me. Esther represents me.
We're going to be discussing dream chasing versus stability. Dream chasing versus stability.
Okay, dream chasing nayo ni ngumu. Juu unaweza kuwa una chase impossible dreams. But yet unaweza kuwa una chase possible dreams. So wewe tu ngangana na dream yako, one day one time utafika hapo.
Ukifika certain stage in life, make decisions peke yako, ndio ukiregret usikuwa na mtu wa kublame. Just go for it. Ndio kikikuuma ni wewe imeuma.
Kuramba.
Na iki work out pia all the best, because si kila time uta-fail na si kila time uta-succeed. But hauwezi jua kama hujajaribu.
Mimi nitakuja hapa nikudanganye, soft life. Hujui hiyo soft life inatoka wapi? You guys just want to fly badala you take the stairs step by step. Obviously mtu wako pale juu alianzia somewhere. You can't tell me ati kama kuna alternative utafanya, si basi wewe fanya if that's what you want. Would you rather earn less doing what you love ama earn more doing what you hate?
Mimi hata sita kudanganya ati napenda kukufia nchi yangu just because of the money that is there. Si ati anapenda kukua KDF, but because of the money that is there.
Okay, men are not smart like women. I'm
Yeah,
going to
true.
say that
That's
for a
true.
fact.
If
Right now,
that is true.
if me and Rachel say to pay 1 million, tupe mwaka mmoja, hiyo million itakuwa hata maybe 10. But if a man unashikangwa tu na kiburi, sasa ndio unavaa
Hello, kids. Did you know a year has 31,557,600 seconds? Why do you think so? Exactly. There are 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day, and 365 and 25 days in a year. We count the extra 0.25 because of leap years. When you multiply all these numbers together, you get a huge number of seconds. That's why a year feels long, but time still flies when you are having fun. Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back to the bulletin, and now, First Lady Rachel Ruto has officially welcomed Her Royal Highness Princess Lala Asma of Morocco, who arrived in the country this afternoon for a 3-day official visit. The Moroccan princess is expected to tour the Kenyatta National Hospital, where she will witness the progress of Kenya's cochlear implant program and sign a memorandum of understanding to strengthen cooperation in hearing health. During her visit, Princess Lala has also donated cochlear implant devices worth 120 million shillings under the Voice of Children program, an initiative championed by the First Lady. The donation will enable dozens of Kenyan children living with hearing impairments to regain their hearing and transform their lives. Later tonight, the First Lady will host a state dinner at State House, Nairobi, in honor of Princess Lala to celebrate the growing partnership between Kenya and Morocco in advancing inclusive healthcare and child welfare. And now what's happening in Kenya? The government has pledged to settle all pending payments owed to workers in public sugar factories. Agriculture and Livestock Development Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe says the administration remains focused on reviving the sugar industry and safeguarding both farmers and workers. Let's listen in. The government says it will honor all outstanding dues owed to the sugar factory workers, even as it navigates tough fiscal conditions. Addressing sugar sector stakeholders in Nairobi, the Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe affirmed that workers' welfare remain a top priority, noting that the payment process is already underway.
We are working, the PS and I are working with the Treasury to make sure that the resources required to meet our obligations are availed.
The government has also started clearing long-standing arrears owed to sugarcane farmers in line with its broader plan to restore confidence in the sugar belt. Under the reforms, leased factories are expected to resume full operations immediately, conduct urgent repairs, and uphold strict investment commitments to boost efficiency and sustainability.
So one is that those factories that have not opened yet, all right, should open because it is in accordance with our terms. So I am asking that the factories that we license that have not opened should do so immediately to alleviate both the workers and as well as the farmers.
To curb malpractice, the ministry has directed that only the CEO of the Kenya Sugar Board can authorize weighbridge operations, warning that unauthorized facilities will be shut down without delay.
On the issue of weighbridges, only the chief executive of the sugar board can give instructions on those weighbridges. So let's not have anybody else giving any instructions about these weighbridges. Because I hear that there is some confusion regarding who says where it is to be put, then another one comes, it is removed, somebody else comes, another one is put, Tohi, Udisha in writing. It should be in writing from the Sugar Regulatory Authority. That's where it should come from.
Meanwhile, the Kenya Sugar Board has also ordered all sugar repackaging firms and individuals to register by November the 17th. The directive, issued under the Sugar Act of 2024, seeks to boost quality control and protect consumers from substandard sugar. And more from the counties. The county government of Machakos, under the leadership of His Excellency Governor Wavinya Ndeti, today presided over the graduation ceremony of the first cohort of the Machakos Youth Empowerment Program at the White House grounds, Machakos. The event marked a major milestone in the county government's ongoing commitment to empower young people through practical skills, mentorship, and discipline for self-reliance and sustainable livelihoods. The Machakos Youth Empowerment Program enrolled 1,000 trainees drawn from all 40 wards of Machakos County. The youth received training in various trades, including welding, electrical work, tailoring, catering, plumbing, carpentry, hairdressing, and events management. Out of this, 967 passed their National Industrial Training Authority NITA examinations. Let's take a listen.
In her address, Governor Wavinya expressed joy and fulfillment as she witnessed the transformation of over 1,000 young people who underwent intensive training in technical, vocational, and creative fields.
We gather here not only to celebrate your success, but also to witness the realization of a great vision. Today, that vision stands before us, alive and strong in you, the youth of Machakos County.
She emphasized that the program reflects her administration's firm dedication, placing youth at the center of Machakos County's development agenda. She explained that the Machakos Youth Empowerment Program was a direct fulfillment of a promise she made to the people of Machakos during her campaign, aimed at addressing unemployment and restoring dignity among young people.
Hii ilikuwa manifesto yetu kuhakikisha tumeangalia vijana, and I hope Your Excellency nimetimiza moja ya ile ilikuwa katikati yetu ya manifesto yetu ya chama cha Wiper, because tulisema lazima tuweke vijana kipaumbele. Lazima tuangalie vijana wetu na tuwasaidie.
The governor reaffirmed that empowering the youth remained a cornerstone of her administration, noting that the initiative had already begun to bear fruits.
And I want to thank the parents. Asanteni wazazi sana kwa kusupport hawa watoto. Walifanya mtihani wao, tulikuwa tunangojea certificate zao. They were being printed from London, that is NITA. They just came a week ago, ndio tumewaita leo wakuje kuchukua certificate zao. Today I am proud that the progressive idea that I preconceived has yielded fruits, because I believe that empowered youth is the foundation of a prosperous county and nation.
The event was graced by Wiper Party leader and former Vice President Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, who commended Governor Wavinya for his visionary leadership and commitment to youth empowerment. At the same time, Dr. Kalonzo criticized the national government over the ongoing strike by university lecturers, which has disrupted learning across public universities. He accused the government of misplaced priorities.
Imagine if Governor Wavinya is operating within the 15%, by the way, is shared between the 47 counties. And the little that she gets, she's able to empower the youth that she's trying to do today. Imagine if we went up to national government, wapate 60%, na counties wapate 40%. In fact, in my view, we should make it 50-50, because all the stealing that is happening in Nairobi is because they have a lot of money to throw away. And yet, as I speak to you, our university lecturers have been on strike. This is a third month, and they cannot be paid the 7.something billion, 7.9 billion. They want it paid quickly.
He advised President William Ruto to divert the colossal amounts of money used for political mobilization towards compensating the striking dons.
I give a suggestion to William Ruto. You cannot keep our university lecturers in the streets. These are some of our best minds. But on the one hand, you're able to get your agents collect sometimes 6,000 to 10,000 people to State House, bribe them with 10,000 shillings each, mass bribery. Now, if you cumulatively took that into account, the amount you're spending on bribing Kenyans, that is enough to pay university lecturers and to get our university students to go back to school.
The former vice president further observed that the unresolved strike by university lecturers was a reflection of the grand mismanagement of national resources. He called for stronger leadership focused on services delivery and the empowerment of youth and educators. For GBS News from Machakos County, I am Paul Elmaina.
Well, I apologize. It's Her Excellency Wavinya Ndeti. And with that, for sports lovers, it's time for your most favorite part of the segment, the sports news. Let's get sporty. And for the sports news, all eyes are on Paris tonight as defending champions Paris Saint-Germain welcome Bayern Munich in a blockbuster Championship League clash. Both sides have started the campaign perfectly. 3 wins from 3 separated only by a single goal at the top of the table. It's a rematch of the 2020 final, a battle of Europe's highlight, and it promises to be an unforgettable night at the Parc des Princes.
Under the bright lights of the Parc des Princes, 2 European powerhouses, Paris Saint-Germain and Bayern Munich, prepare to collide. Both teams have started the Champions League campaign in flawless form. 3 wins from 3 games, separated only by a single goal. 13 for PSG and 12 for Bayern. It's the ultimate top-of-the-table showdown with the reigning champions of France against the relentless giants of Germany. Vincent Kompany's band have been unstoppable since the Club World Cup loss to PSG with 15 straight victories, a statement of dominance. But PSG, unbeaten in 8 and losing only once all season, are defending their crown with intent and confidence. PSG coach Luis Enrique says Ballon d'Or winner Ousmane Dembele is fit and ready for the match.
Aucun risque avec aucun joueur. Mais Ousmane, il est en condition, il a fait tous les entraînements pendant les 2 dernières semaines et aussi il a participé dans les 2 derniers matchs et on est content, il est en train d'améliorer son condition physique et demain il va jouer, bien sûr, je ne sais pas combien de minutes, mais il va jouer parce qu'il est la condition prêt pour faire de la compétition. demain, on va décider combien de temps.
And so history circles back. The last time these two met in the Champions League, Kingsley Coman, who is Paris born but Bayern made, broke French hearts in the 2020 final. Now, PSG have the chance to rewrite that story. And tonight at the Parc des Princes, the champions collide, and all football lovers will be watching. Elvis Muyodi, GBS Sports.
Well, everyone will be watching indeed. And with that, we have come to the end of the news bulletin. It's always a pleasure having you on board. Let's do this again next time, same channel. My name is Susan Nganga, and our sign language interpreter tonight has been Paul Mathenge. Have a good night.
Everywhere